Hey, it's Joe Glines, and here's a quick review of some of the stuff I was working on for using Geek Dude's Chrome class. So you can go find it either on GitHub here or link to the forum here where they have other discussions about it. In mine here, I'm going to I first connect or I create an instance of Chrome, put it a pointer to it in the tab variable, and then I'm going to navigate to my website, and then what I'm going to do. So I'm going to uncomment this so we can see it. So this is the function I wrote, which is down below here. And I'm not in love with it, but it should help, I think, a lot of noobs. And also I'll be using it for the basic stuff. What I did was if I remember, I'm inserting JavaScript into it, but injection. But what I've done is I've structured a function here to say, hey, if the let's see here. If the method we're going to use is class, which is for class name, I'll pass it there. The attribute. So let's use the iLearner tool, IWB2 learner tool, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to see what this search box is here. And so for the class, so that we can see here, the class is S. Okay. So we're going to come back over to here. And in my first example, so I put in class. Now what I've done inside the function here is this is dealing with it. So I could put this uppercase or lowercase, right? It tells it only compare lowercase, see if it's the word class. But it would have matched on this or however you do the class, the upper and lowercase for the word class. And then when it finds that, it says, okay, now what are we going to do? We're going to set the attribute to S, and so here, actually, class. Okay, so class is the S is the attribute, and so that's what I'm going to set there. The index, and this one, let's change this back to 1. I've normally these are 0 based, but I much more prefer them starting at 1, and so 1 will be the first one, and 2 will be the second. It's just a little more intuitive to me. And then there's the thing is, what do I want to set? Do I want to set the value? Do I want to set the innerText or OuterHTML? And because this here says value, actually, let me come back in here and come up in this one and say hello. And now when I drag this up here, so notice this says value. If it might have said innerText, and so that's what I'm deciding in here by passing it a V for value, and let's see right here I have it. So V for value, an I for innerText, and an O for OuterHTML. Those are the 3 options you can have under property on what you're going to set. And so now I'm going to save this, I'm going to reload it, and I'm going to launch it. What it's going to do, it's going to open up a new Chrome instance, it's going to navigate to the page, and then you're going to see it's going to set the first search one, because there's actually 2 on the page, and we'll demonstrate that here in a second. So I'm going to launch it. And it's there it goes. It's opening, navigate to it, and see here it put in just a test, right? So that was automatically populated because this has the class name of S. So let me close it. I'm going to change this to 2. So we're going to do the second one instead of the first one it finds. Classes are an array, and so for the class, for the tag name, which is just tag, and then for name, yeah, ID is the only one that's not an array. Anyway, so this time you'll see it show up in the second one. So see, it did it down here instead of here because I passed the second one to it. Let's go back in here. Now let's say instead of the thing you were connecting to didn't have a class. Oops. Come on. Click. Let's say it only had the name. And so I would come back in here. Of course, you can use just the developer tools in Chrome. But here, name happens to be S also. And so really, back in here, all I have to do, so then I change this to name. Again, that's case insensitive. My attribute is going to be S because right here I can see it's S. And then I'm still setting the value to just a test. Let's change this to just another test. And I'm going to save this, reload it, and launch it. And with any luck, there's just another test, right? It pre-populated that there. Now the next one is for tag. So for tag or tag name, I'm just going off a tag here. We'll come back into IE. I'm going to drag this up in here. And here we'll see it's the input tag, right? And it happens to be the first one because in this tool, they're 0 based. And so I'm going to come back in here. And this is why I have the word input here. This, I believe, also could be case insensitive as well with tag. And then Here I'm setting it to the second one. Let's set it to the first one, which is, again, it's 0 base, even though this says 0 here. They are 0 base, but I've adapted mine to increment it by 1, so I don't have to take care of that. So I'm going to relaunch it. Again, it's going to now put it back up in this one. And then the last one, again, for an ID, now it's just going to ignore... Oh, come on. I don't know why it doesn't seem to jump down to the one below. For the ID, either of these fields here, like this one, see how there's no ID here, and this one, do not have an ID for them. But on my page, I can go to here. Let's see, I think it was this one. Yeah, this one has cat, an ID of cat, and see the different values. And so let's say 11 is going to be SPSS. So if I set the value to 11, it will change that to SPSS. All right, so I'll just minimize that. And that's what I have done here is, again, I set it to ID. I set this to cat because cat is what the ID is. That's how I'm going to connect to that exact spot. The value I'm going to set to 11. And see here it still says value. Here it says -1 right now because there was nothing in it. But when I save and reload this, after it loads that page, you'll see here, there it changed it to SPSS. And so I'm programmatically connecting with Chrome. I'm able to set things. Now, one of the things I don't like about this, of course, is often I will connect at a lower level. Let me rephrase that. I will use spots above it also, so I don't connect just to that one because I like putting things up above it. However, just to get started, this to me is a pretty cool function that I'm going to build on and keep adding to. But I think it'll, for some people, I'm so used to using the class name, the ID, and the names instead of the query selector and query selector all, which are powerful, but I'm not familiar with them. And so I built this function just to kind of play with it. Thanks.